The part of GoHighLevel that most staff members use for the majority of their day is right here in the Conversations tab. This is where you can find all the things that are happening in relation to communications, text messages, phone calls, internal notes, emails, AI recordings, all those types of things will be found here. You can see which type of conversations are happening and who's having them. And if you look here in the top left corner where my mouse is with the team inbox, we have the unread section. This is, of course, your unread notifications. And then if I hover over directly to the right of that, we have the all button, which will unlock everything, including those that we have responded to and have been read. Now, as you can see here, we have some fictional characters in which, once a month, almost like clockwork, we get a phone call from them. You can see how if I click on the play button, it would have played the audio in which the call had been recorded. I can increase the speed of the playback, I can mute it, or I can even download that MP3 file if I want to share that with someone. And as I scroll down, you can see there's just tons and tons and tons of communications here where this person is calling every single month. Okay, now this is obviously not normal. They're probably a scam caller or a cold caller or something like that. And so in that case, there's a couple things we can do. Number one, if I click here on the internal comment tab right in that conversation section, I can say something like, hey, this looks like a scammer. And I'll go ahead and send a message there. And if you give it a few seconds, what'll happen is it'll populate within this chat section. Let me just see what happened there. Okay, so I just had to pop out and back in. Sometimes it can be a little bit delayed. And you can see my note right here. And a few ways to know that this is an internal note. Number one is that it's like a sticky note color. It's yellow. And if I hover my mouse over the eyeball right there, it says internal comment, only visible to users. Similarly, if I hover my mouse right here, it says that I am the one who left the comment, Ari Aziz. If it was another employee and you hover your mouse over them, it'll tell you which employee that was that left that comment. If you want to send them a text message, it's already defaulted here to SMS. I can just say like, hey, stop scamming me. And I can go ahead and hit the send button, and it'll then send that text message directly to their phone as an SMS. I could also schedule it later. So if I want to send a text message at, let's say, 2 in the morning because they're a scammer and I want to bother them, or vice versa. If it's a real customer and you're up late and you want to bother them, you can make it at a normal time and you can schedule that text message accordingly. You can also send emails from here by clicking on the SMS button, or if you have WhatsApp enabled online for business WhatsApp, you can go ahead and click that as well. If you have multiple phone numbers, you would just click on this, and from there you can see multiple phone numbers that are available. You can switch to whichever one you want to send that text message to, or from rather. If you want to call them, you can click on the phone button right here. If you want to archive the conversation and just move it out of the way, you can click that accordingly, or you can mark it as read. Now you'll see those 22 notifications disappeared. You can also delete the conversation if you are not wanting it anymore. Here on the right-hand side, you'll see tons of information related to the contact, such as their first name. So I can say scammer, and the last name I can say mix scams a lot. And if I just click anywhere, it'll give me the option to now hit the blue save button, and it says here success, changes saved successfully, and their name now populates here. And if I just refresh the page, I guess, because sometimes there's a bit of a delay with the software, you will now see that their name populates as well in the overview of the conversations. Likewise, if I had an email file, and if I had an email on file for them, it would have shown up here. Their phone number is showing up here from the caller ID because they kept calling me. And if there was a source, which is likely Google Business Profile, for example, you can either populate here depending on your settings, or you can write it yourself once you figure out what that source is. You can fill out any of these fields that you want. The city was auto-populated from the caller ID. So based on the 778 number that they have here, it determined that this was a number based out of Richmond, in the country of Canada and British Columbia. So all that is available there. And if you want to come to the DND section, which stands for Do Not Disturb, you will see here that you can choose DND all channels, which means that you will not be able to send them any more emails, text messages, or calls and voicemails. This is typically if somebody is unsubscribed. Usually it'll automatically unsubscribe them, but you can manually do it by clicking that as well. This, however, is usually just for the outbound. And if you want to block this person from calling or messaging you, then you click on this little check mark for the inbound calls and SMS. This means that they can no longer message you, and so you will get a nice little break from all of that. And if you want to be super safe, you can also do this as well. In terms of the opportunities, which is again part of the pipeline, you can click here, see that there's no opportunities here, and rightfully so, because it's a scammer. However, if it theoretically was a real customer and you wanted to move them along the pipeline, you can click on that Create New button, select your pipeline. Sometimes it can take a bit of a second to load, or in my case, it might just not load at all. It's because I swap accounts. But if there's a pipeline here, you would just select your pipeline and move them along the stage. I know that this scammer has no value, but if it was a real customer, could have been, let's say, $10,000, and I can put a tag on that customer if I want to, and go ahead and hit create. Okay, and that's how you do that. If you have certain automations you want to run them through, you click on workflows. From there, you hit the plus sign, type in the workflow, and then you choose the time and date that you want that workflow to trigger. Coming down again on the far right side, you'll see a lot of icons here. If I were to click on opportunities, again, it'll show the pipeline stages that this customer has. If I click on tasks, this is where you can set tasks or reminders for yourself or other staff members. These are all internal. So if I say, call this guy back, and I just say, he's a hot lead, said to call him back on Thursday afternoon, I can go ahead and make a note for myself for next Thursday. I can put a reminder, let's say, let's just say 11 a.m. Or if I want to switch it to p.m., let's say 3 p.m. And I'll select it to myself. Right now my name's not populating here, but you would select yourself, and then you hit the create button. And from there, you'll get an internal notification in the app here, up in that notification section. And that's where you would be able to see this task assigned to you. If you have it on your phone, you would also get a pop-up on your phone. We also have the notes section here on the contact. Here, you can leave a sticky note internally. The customer will not see this. You can say something like, this guy is a great lead, give him 5% off. Make it blue, pink, whatever color you want. And you can just say, saving this sticky note. And if you want attachments, you can upload it. Okay, otherwise you just go ahead and hit save. And you can see here that that sticky note is available, and this will just stay forever internally for all of your staff to be able to see it if they click on the note section there. This is not to be confused with the internal comment, which is only visible there inside of the conversations, because if I get another 20 phone calls or text messages from this guy, this will continue to make its way up the list and slowly disappear out of my way unless I scroll back up to it. Appointments are going to be found here if you want to make an appointment. You can click on the add appointment button, choose one of your calendars. You can say something like appointment with McScams a lot. You can choose your time and date. Okay, so if I want to do a custom time, for example, I want to make it for this time, 6 p.m., August 1st. Okay. And you just have to select it accordingly and hit the book appointment button. That will then book that appointment. And that's essentially everything here. You'll see conversations, text messages, phone calls, recordings, everything is automatically going to be populating there. And this is where, again, most of your time will be spent just talking to people, communicating, sending text messages back and forth, calling them or them calling you. And if you have an AI voice agent, it'll also be showing up here, just like the regular phone calls, and you can listen to the recordings or you can read the transcript.